Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 2. Family, family, family. Okay? We're picking up right where we left off with Episode 1. Jen and Bill have stormed out of the sexy calendar shoot, while Dolores explains to the other ladies what happened between her and Jennifer. Out in the car, Bill is trying to get Jennifer to calm down, and she is not having it. Inside, Melissa's like, I think she just wants you to love her. You know, like she wants you to be obsessed with her. Not happening. Danielle is like, she had us in the corner for a good 45 minutes, okay? Talking about how she just wants to be friends with you. She's hurting, Teresa. That's why I want you guys to talk. And Dolores is like, Teresa, I don't want anything to do with that. Outside, I thought that when she called me over, that was gonna be her opportunity to show me she cared. And it was just a big f*** you, Bill. I just have to mourn the loss. Melissa says to Dolores, you and Jennifer were really close. Dolores, but I can't be in a relationship like that. It's not for me. All right, well, we're just going to have to table that because now it's the next morning. We are in Danielle's kitchen and her 7-year-old Dominic tells her and her husband, I wish I was a man because I can speak British. Danielle, well, first of all, you are a man. And secondly, speak British. Dominic, mother. Danielle, oh, wow. Dominic, fuck her. Did I mention that her kids are sassy? And speaking of sass, at Jennifer's house, Olivia does not want to ride her bike because she doesn't want to fall. And Jennifer's like, you know how many times mommy falls? You just get back up again, Olivia. And risk my beautiful nose? That's actually natural? Then we see Margaret at the doctor's office and we find out that she has to have the cast on her arm for another 5 weeks. And she's not happy about that. We get a scene with Teresa FaceTiming Louie's assistant. When does Louie have an assistant for? Anyway, she is apparently taking over, like, handling wedding stuff. So Teresa's like, hi, I know I was so busy, but like, I know we have to get the invitations out. So yeah, it's 67 days until the wedding and there are a little over 200 guests invited. So clock's ticking. Over at Melissa and Joe's, they are packing because they're heading to LA. Melissa has been asked to present at an awards show. I don't know, probably Kids' Choice. I really don't know. Well, I should say she's been asked to co-present with Teresa. Uh-oh. And it's in LA. And so, yeah, they're packing to go there and they're talking about how awkward it's going to be. Melissa's like, he called me insecure. What's with that? That's annoying. And Joe's like, yeah, it's going to be awkward. Even at the engagement party, we were put at the other table. It hurts. In Melissa's confessional, she said, she just keeps smacking him. Like, screw your wife. I'm not going to let you walk me down the aisle. Joe's like, and in LA, it would be nice if, like, we could hang out or go out to dinner together. But I know it's going to be them going their separate ways. We're going to go our separate ways. It's sad. Okay, back at Jennifer's house, it is pouring rain, and she is expecting Danielle to come over for a visit with her 2 children. And I guess this is like the first time that she's gonna be seeing their house. And so, yeah, they are new friends. They don't know each other. So that does make it a little bit weird that she was so invested in whether or not Jennifer and Dolores were having, you know, getting along or having a conversation. Or, you know what I mean? It was like she was pretty into Jennifer's business. Oh, God, it's so cute. They arrive, and the kids are meeting each other. Olivia introduces herself, and this is my brother, Christian. How old are you? And Dominic said 7, and she goes, I'm 9, he's 11. It's just, could you imagine if adults met each other that way? Like, just leading with your ages. Hi, I'm Tracy, I'm 46. This is my husband, John, he's 48. It's cute. So, of course, Danielle is marveling at the house, which Jennifer introduces as, welcome to my humble abode. Yeah. There's nothing humble about your abode or you. But Danielle, of course, is gushing. And then the children immediately go off to the basketball court or the movie theater or, I don't know what else she has. Strip mall, maybe. Maybe the kids go do a little shopping while the moms talk. So immediately Danielle says, I wanted to ask you how you were doing after the calendar shoot. I was in the crossfire between you and Dolores. Yeah, because you put yourself in the crossfire. Jennifer tells her that she thought that when Dolores said, can we talk, that it was because Dolores cared. But then she was like, I don't give a shit. If she thinks I'm not her friend, then f*** her. Danielle, I don't know. You got a weird dynamic with all these broads here. And Jennifer goes, who's the nicest to you? Danielle, you. I vibe with you the most. Take this the right way, but you're a little crazy, like me. Yeah, okay. Then she tells her that Teresa briefed her on all of the ladies. Teresa. So it's not a huge surprise that she's vibing with Jennifer, right? If you're looking at a group of ladies through the eyes of Teresa. Jennifer, what did she say about Margaret? Danielle's like, she said stuff went down, but she's pretty positive about turning over a new leaf. And then they talk about how Teresa and Margaret had a meeting, and Danielle goes, yeah, how'd that go? And Jennifer said, well, I don't know. Let's FaceTime her and find out. So they immediately FaceTime Teresa. Hi. And Jennifer's like, hey, I'm here with Danielle. Hey, Danielle. And Danielle goes, we want to know how your meeting with Margaret went. And Teresa goes, it went very well. I was really happy. I was very raw and very real. Some might say raw as a cucumber. I was like, I'm sorry. Jennifer, did she apologize? I knew that was coming. Teresa just said, no, but we communicated. I was like, wow, this is a breath of fresh air. Anyway, so Jennifer's like, oh, that's good. And then she goes, did she ask you about that girl, Laura? Danielle and me, who's Laura? Teresa goes, no. So Jennifer explains to Danielle that Laura is an ex-best friend of Margaret. They had a falling out, apparently, hence the ex part of it. And apparently Laura was trying to get in touch with Jennifer and Teresa to tell them stuff. Stuff about Margaret. Jennifer says that she was suspicious of Laura the whole time. So she really wasn't responding to her at first. Okay. But I bet she allowed her to tell her stuff. Okay, of course she did. Jennifer justifies this by saying, I thought to myself, what would Margaret do in this same situation? Would she have talked to her? Absolutely. She's not wrong. I think it would be very hard not to be tempted to talk to somebody who wants to tell you something about a person that you are definitely not getting along with. I guess I would want to know if they were saying anything else about me. I don't think I would have met with her if it was just, I've got other gossip on Margaret. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm out of it. I don't care. I don't want to know. But if she were spreading rumors about me, that I would want to know. Yeah. So I guess Laura told them that Margaret really does her research on each of the ladies. She really does take her time to find out as much as she can about each of them. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Especially if you're going to be doing a reality show with them and, you want to know what's going to come out or you want to know a little bit about their background. I mean, maybe there was something more sinister to it, but to me, it just felt like it's kind of like looking up what you can about a guy before you go on a first date. I don't know. You want to know if there's any red flags out there, right? Okay, so now this is where I got a little confused because what Danielle says next is, did she talk about anybody else or just Margaret? That to me means she's talking about Laura. Did Laura talk about anybody else or did she just talk about Margaret? But that is not the way Teresa and Jennifer took it. because Jennifer gets like a smirk on her face and she's looking at Teresa. You know, Teresa's still on her phone. They're FaceTiming. She's quiet. She turns like the phone toward Danielle so that Teresa can be facing Danielle, but Teresa's not saying anything. And they both kind of laugh awkwardly. And Teresa goes, we're both silent. It's super awkward. In Danielle's confessional, the producer asks her, do you want to know what it is? And Danielle goes, hell yeah, I want to know what it is. Don't you want to know what it is? Hell yeah. I want to know what it is too. And also, I'm confused because, anyway, okay, wait, let's just continue with the scene. Danielle's like, so it seems like it's this serious thing. You're not mentioning this like serious thing. And Jennifer goes, no, because then that would make us just as dirty as Margaret. This is why I'm confused. Doesn't she mean that would make us as dirty as Laura? Because isn't Laura the one that's spilling this gossip to them? And I know that Danielle said, did she say anything about anybody else or just Margaret? So she couldn't have been talking about Margaret. That wouldn't make sense. Did Margaret say anything about anybody else or just herself? So that's why I was all confused about this. Teresa and Jennifer, they're definitely taking it like, did Laura tell you anything else Margaret said about anybody else? And apparently the answer is yes. In Jennifer's confessional, she said, I don't think I'll need to tell anybody else this information unless Margaret really pisses me off, which, you know, will happen, I'm sure. All right, the next scene is giving us a little bit of a backstory for Rachel Fuda and her family. Very similar vibe to Danielle's family. Like the baby, she's got a 3-month-old baby that's like in all this tulle and ruffly stuff and a headband and all the kind of stuff that feels like it's scratchy and uncomfortable for a baby. That's just me. It's cute. She's adorable. I'm just thinking to myself, this isn't a photo shoot. You're just like waking her up and dressing her this way. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so Danielle has 2 daughters under the age of 2. Juliana, the 3-month-old, and then she has a 2-year-old Gianella that they call Gia. And then I guess John has a 15-year-old son, Jaden. That's who's best friends with Gino, Melissa and Joe's son, which is how Melissa knows Rachel. Rachel tells us that he's her stepson, and she goes, the only reason I say step is because people always bring up my age. It's so annoying. Like, just, you know, mind your own business. Is that true? I looked up her age. She's 31. Yes, that's young, and young to have a 16-year-old. But let me put it this way. I never in a million years would have guessed that she was just 31. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's the housewife hair and makeup. I really do. It's glamorous, but I also think it makes you look older in a lot of ways. All right, so anyway, Rachel tells John that Danielle has invited all of the ladies to a mozzarella making party. Yeah, they can't say mozzarella. Every time they say that word, it's mozzarella. So I'm sure it's a more accurate pronunciation. It's just funny to me that, you know, everything else you say is in an American accent except for certain words. Anyway, she tells John that she's excited to go and that she likes Danielle. So far. No, there's nothing that I know of coming down the pike, but no housewife likes another for, you know, any significant length of time, right? Now we're over at Margaret's and she's putting out a bunch of food on plates. She's having some of the ladies over. It's just her, Jen Fessler, Jackie, Dolores, and Melissa. And they're going to be playing the fun facts game. The ladies are all arriving. Melissa has brought sprinkle cookies. They joke about that. We see a very old flashback. That's got to be Melissa's first season. Remember, I guess it was Christmas, and Melissa brought sprinkle cookies over to Teresa's house. Teresa threw them right in the garbage. Good times. A lot of happy memories for those two. We learned that Margaret met Jen Fessler through a mutual ex-friend. So immediately I'm thinking Laura, but I was wrong. Siggy Flicker. It makes me wonder if Jen Fessler is still friends with Siggy. And I would kind of like, Listen, Siggy was a ridiculous human being. I think she made good TV. I did enjoy her, other than I hated the whole Hitler storyline thing. I hated that. And that was Siggy's second year, I think. And that was when Siggy needed to go. All right, so the game is a question gets asked out loud to the group, and everybody writes down their answer on a piece of paper, and they throw all the answers in a fishbowl, and then one person will pick out the answer, and then the group has to guess who said it. So here's the first question. The sex act that makes me feel a little guilty is, and Jen Fessler goes, I'm Jewish. Every sex act makes me feel guilty. Yeah, Jen's going to do like just a quick 30-second set. So she's reading the first answer, and it's sex while driving and truck drivers see. That turned out to be, nobody got it right at first, but that turned out to be Margaret. I'm sorry, the guilt should be that you might kill someone. How about that? Anyway, they ask Melissa about... Oh, there was one more. Same question. The answer was when I lick his balls, and everyone's like... Why does that make you feel guilty? You're providing a service. Anyway, it was Melissa, of course. She gets all nervous. Anyway, so they ask Melissa how it went in LA with Teresa. And she's like, it was awkward. We didn't really speak. And Joe's sad. But Melissa says she is done worrying about what Teresa thinks or feels or sees or hears or tastes. So Jackie says, you know who I think is more dangerous than Teresa? Jennifer. Dolores. Oh, I'm done with her. She thinks I'm not a good friend. I'm done. Margaret. I made up with Jennifer. Sincerely. I thought it was sincere. I thought everything was okay. And then I find out that Jennifer and Teresa met with an ex-friend of mine, digging for info about me. Okay, now we're talking about Laura, who... I guess was a childhood friend of Margaret's, which now makes it even creepier that Laura felt like she had to talk to Jennifer and Teresa. You know, you've known Margaret since you were children. Come on. Margaret doesn't even know what happened. Like, Margaret is unaware of there being any, like, falling out between her and Laura. So she really doesn't understand that. And also she feels like she's being played because she and Jennifer had made up, as far as she knew. In her confessional, Margaret tells us that the reason she knows this is because there's a mole in Jennifer's camp who told her. I would love to know who the mole is. All right, so now we are with Dolores and Paulie, and we are at Paulie's condo, or I don't know, apartment? I can't remember what she said. It's very nice. Side note, what is with these cell phone covers? Earlier, I noticed this, but I didn't mention it. When Teresa was on the phone with Louis' assistant talking about the wedding invitations, they were FaceTiming, and you could see Teresa, the back of Teresa's phone, like her phone case, and it was a picture of her and Louis, which, like, they were standing together. It almost looked like it was taken from what would have been like the opening shot of the show, like when they do the taglines. Oh, we haven't had the taglines yet. Next episode, I bet. Anyway, it was like they do their tagline, and then you kind of see their family in the background. It kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but that's sort of a picture of the two of them. And now Dolores has a picture with Paulie on the back of her phone case. What is going on? Although Dolores said she got a lot of flack for that when she was over at Margaret's house when they were playing that stupid game. The ladies were teasing her about it because that is very unlike Dolores, I guess. And Dolores tells her that for the first time, my walls are 100% down. She's all in with love. And in her confessional, she's like, look at me. I'm like a tool bag. I'm so corny. Ugh. They talk about how often Dolores is over at Paulie's place, and he says that he loves it. He loves having her there because, you know, they can talk whenever and share things. Dolores said, but we haven't been very social, Paul. Are you okay with that? Because I got to tell you, I'm okay with that. I don't mind staying home with just the two of us. And he said that he does like that, but he also would like to be a little more social. And she goes, oh, you like social? Was it fun the other night at Margaret's? So she's talking about the calendar shoot when Dolores got into it with Jennifer. Paul did have fun. In spite of that, Paul still thought that was a good time. Dolores, I don't know what I'm going to do with this girl, Paul. And Paul's like, you move on. It's her loss, because at the end of the day, you're a very good friend. I cannot do an Irish brogue. Do not come for me. That is as good as it's going to get. I'm so sorry. Dolores tells us in her confessional that before she got to Margaret's for that calendar shoot, Paul said to her, be the bigger person. Had he not said that, things might have gone a little differently. And then we get what is like one of my all-time favorite classic flashback clips. Dolores going off on Danielle Staub. And this was, I think, the first season that Danielle came back to the show. And Dolores was not having it. She's like, you're a liar. You're a scumbag. And then my favorite line ever, welcome back, scumbag. Welcome back. The warm welcome combined with calling her a scumbag. Chef's kiss. So good. Best of Dolores Catania. All right, so now Dolores and Paul talk a little bit about Frank and his looming presence in their lives. Paul says that Frank's just not used to you having a guy that wants to do a lot with you, aka David. But he's like, Frank doesn't need to be in that situation anymore. I've got you now. It was so bad. Oh God, I said that like the guy in Captain Phillip. I'm your captain now. I've got you now. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to be attempting it anymore. Oh boy, excitement is in the air. Everybody's doorbells are ringing, and there's a giant package left on their doorsteps that's, pretty big. Is it a cake? Nope. It is the invitation to Teresa's wedding in a box the size of a cake. It's very elaborate. It is like beautiful flowers, and I guess it's just laying on top of the flowers is like this lucite invitation that has, the information etched into it. We see Jennifer going to the door and getting hers, and Margaret's getting hers. And at Rachel's house, she and John are opening theirs. And John's like, oh, I'm surprised we got an invitation because, we just met. Meanwhile, over at Joe and Melissa's house, they are opening theirs very sadly. Joe Gorga, he's very sad this year so far. I think in the previews, we discovered that his sadness has sort of morphed into anger, which is, great. But right now, he's just still feeling a little melancholy. He's like, another thing that's just going to be awkward, just like it was in L.A. I mean, my God, L.A., we're just two kids from Patterson. Our father was a shoemaker, and we had this incredible opportunity, and we can't even stand on the red carpet together. Our parents are looking down, and they're heartbroken. Yeah, Joe's kind of doing what Teresa did in so far as he's blaming Louis more than Teresa, just the way Teresa is kind of blaming Melissa and not her own brother. And again, I think it's because they don't want to think that their sibling could be that mean to them. So it's easier for them to think that their sibling is being influenced by somebody else. Joe Gorga's like, we had a bad seed in the family. We get a little montage of Joe Giudice. And so with Louis, it's just the seed is germinating. He thinks that it's getting worse with him. He's not necessarily wrong because Louis, I'll tell you what, Louis spent last year trying to keep peace and get everyone to get along, right? And, even toward the end there, he asked Joe for his blessing to marry Teresa and all that. Even at the reunion, I felt like Louis was making an attempt to calm Teresa down and, make peace. I don't think that's happening anymore. And whether it was all an act last year, which it may have partially been, he may have been kind of manipulating Teresa and then looking like the good guy on camera. I don't know. I don't think it would be difficult. to manipulate Teresa. But all I'm saying is this is only episode 2, and I feel like Louis is getting a little more vocal about the others. Just even the way he said it was Melissa's insecurity. And he said, I don't think your brother should be mad at you. So he's being a little bit more negative about her family on camera. Is he calling Teresa a see you next Tuesday while he whispers into a phone with his girlfriend? Not yet. Hopefully not ever. Okay, so we are at Danielle's, and for her Mozzarella party, she's a little bit nervous. She wants everything to go well. She doesn't want any fighting. Who can fight when they're touching cheese? But no, seriously, she really does want everything to be perfect. She's got a bartender. She's got the guys who are giving the mozzarella lesson. She's like, my house isn't small by any means, but like Jennifer's house could eat my house. So, I'm just waiting. If anybody says my house is cute, meaning small, I'm going to have a problem. So Dolores is the first one to get there. And she's like, oh, I love it here. It's cute. I dare you to have a problem with Dolores Catania. Teresa is next, and Danielle tells her that she's done something special with her invitation, although I never saw it. I think just from the conversation that the special thing she did was just to put it on the table out back. I don't know. She might be using it like a centerpiece or something. And that is when Teresa tells us that, well, I'll let her tell you. Well, yeah, now we gotta send out new ones, thanks to Ramona. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember this or knew this, but Ramona Singer, aka Problematic Housewife from Real Housewives of New York, she was making a little TikTok or Reels or something for Instagram. She's like, I got this very unique invitation. And she opens it and shows it to the camera and then posts it publicly on social media. That would be the date, time, and location of Teresa's wedding. So I guess what Teresa has to do is email every guest and give them a new password. Now, I don't know what good that's going to do. I'm not sure what the password, if the password is just how they can RSVP. I don't know if there's more like undisclosed information that you can get if you have the password. Unclear. All I know is it's not like she can change the venue. The wedding is 67 days away. Teresa just said, we were trying to keep it as private as possible, but now we can't thanks to Ramona. The cynic in me thinks that really, Teresa, don't you just want all this publicity at your wedding anyway? I don't know that she's super heartbroken about it. Okay, Jen Fessler is next to arrive, then Rachel, Dolores. Rachel asks Dolores if she spoke to Jennifer. Rachel and Danielle are very concerned about the Jennifer-Dolores friendship. And Dolores is like, no, I haven't. It's best to let things cool down. And then Teresa says something like, you guys should talk. And she's starting to tell Dolores the way Jennifer's feeling. Like, she just feels like you don't care. And Dolores goes, Teresa, stop sticking up for this. See you next Tuesday. That kind of shut everybody up for a minute. Teresa, I just think that two of you need to sit down and talk. Dolores, here's the thing, Teresa. I don't want to hear what she has to say anymore. And here she comes now. Jen Fessler asks Teresa about Melissa, like if they're good with each other. Teresa, yeah, I was just in California with her, and I had a great time with her. Did you? Was it great because you didn't talk? Or spend any time with her other than like the 2 minutes you were probably on stage together? Wow, what a different interpretation of how things went in LA. Jen Fessler's like, really? And Teresa goes, yeah. My brother's still hurt, I guess, from what I said to him in New York. But I said, I'm sorry. And I don't know what else I can do. And here comes Melissa and Margaret. They ask if Jackie's coming, and Danielle did not invite Jackie. Yeah, Danielle didn't get a good vibe at the roller rink. And she just thinks that Jackie's a little, looking her up and down and kind of judging. So, yeah, Danielle did not invite her, didn't didn't like the vibe. And Jennifer goes, and she's a snub. And Melissa goes, well, I don't think she's a snob. Rachel, she was also a little rude to me. And Jen Fessler's like, oh, well, that's nice. That's sweet. Jennifer goes, is that maybe why you snapped at me a little bit? And Rachel's like, but did I snap at you or did you snap at me? Jennifer fills in the others about how she was talking to them at the calendar shoot about like how Dolores didn't have her back when Margaret thought that Jennifer was a hypocrite. And Rachel said, yeah, well, that is kind of hypocritical. This all happened at the sexy calendar shoot, or as I call it, the calendar shoot. I think we can all agree it wasn't sexy. And Margaret goes, Jennifer, you don't have to be hung up on the word hypocritical. Stop going back. And Jennifer's like, I'm not. This is facts. I'm just stating the facts of what happened at the calendar shoot. Stop going back. It's about moving forward, Jennifer. Danielle's like, toast. Thank you all for coming to my house. Let's make a lot of mozzarella and have lots of laughs. Everyone cheers. We get a brief porn music montage of the guy who's got his hands in the mozzarella and is like stretching it out and stuff. And oh God, I just feel like it probably smells a little sour. I'm sorry. I'm sure it was very, very sexual. Margaret says, Jennifer, we need to talk. And it's the same thing, basically, that Margaret has said twice already. And that is that the makeup that she had with Jennifer was very sincere to her and very real. And how could she dig up dirt on her by going to meet with her ex-BFF, Laura, after all that? Jennifer's basically like, she was trying to get in touch with me for so long. And I was like, let's hear what she has to say. I'm not bringing anything she said to the table. The other ladies are now wondering what those two are talking about. Margaret's like, but you shouldn't have met with her. Just say you made a mistake and let's move on. Jennifer, but I didn't make a mistake. Margaret tells her that's a twisted way of thinking. Jennifer thinks it's a fine way of thinking. That Margaret says, well, that concerns me. And Jennifer says, well, good, be concerned. Because here's the thing. The way that you think about me has no effect on me. Margaret, you don't want to be friends? Jennifer, look, friends is a spectrum. Melissa kind of wanders over to them now and tells Margaret that the pitch of her voice is getting very high. And then something about marijuana paranoia. I think Margaret accuses Jennifer of having marijuana paranoia. Jennifer's like, oh, it's not like I'm getting high all the time. I have children. I'm a mother. I don't have time for that. Now Margaret goes to sit over by Teresa and the other ladies who have like dipping their feet in the pool. And Margaret tells Teresa that she should get Jennifer into therapy. Jennifer, of course, overhears this. Margaret, you don't get to tell me what a normal way to be is. And then she tells us in her confessional, who the f*** needs Karens when you've got a Margaret? And Margaret's like, don't tell me I can't explain to them what happened. And Jennifer goes, you can explain to them what happened, but you don't need to say that I'm out of control. You don't choose. Margaret, I do choose. You have issues with Dolores. You have issues with everybody. Jennifer, I don't have issues with Dolores. Dolores has issues with me. Now you woke the beast, Jennifer. Because Dolores was staying out of this whole mess until now. And also, what? You don't have an issue with Dolores? Of course you do. So Dolores turns to look at Jennifer and she goes, how do I have an issue with you? And Jennifer goes, I don't know, babe, but you don't care. So Dolores, we're good. Now Dolores is really upset. And everyone's like, oh no, oh God, no. Oh no, here it comes. Dolores. Here's the thing, Jennifer. If you have a problem with me, come to me. You just fucking badmouthed me. Jennifer, I didn't shit on you until you shit on me. Now Teresa comes out of nowhere. How about a clean slate? Okay. Jennifer and Dolores are really just yelling over each other right now. Meanwhile, Jen Fessler is off to the side next to Melissa, and she's like, whose sandwich is that? Is that your sandwich? Melissa goes, yeah, it's mine. Can I have it? Melissa goes, yeah, it was good. So yeah, Jen Fessler's just like eating a sandwich now. There's so much crosstalk with the other ladies. Teresa and Margaret are now involved in the thing between Jennifer and Dolores. Dolores says something and Jennifer's like, Teresa, you said it was up too, remember? And Dolores goes, but Teresa, after how many things she said about me? How many? What did I say? And Dolores goes, I don't have time for this. I'm not a forensic accountant. And now, fresh from eating Melissa's sandwich with mustard, comes Jen Fessler. Guys, neither one of you are owning your part in this. It's never going to get anywhere. Dolores. Jennifer Fessler, wrong place, wrong people to deal with. So Jennifer backs off. I mean, like, why wouldn't you? And they go back to yelling. Jen Fessler goes off to eat again. She's like, I can't with these women. And she shoves this giant hunk of mozzarella into her mouth. I mean, an enormous chunk. Is this going to be her storyline? That Jen Fessler is an emotional eater? Because guess what? Who isn't? I'm going to need more Bravo. Do better. So things calm down and Dolores says, I think it's okay to just be who we are. We're in the same place. I'm fine with that. Jennifer says, I'm fine with that. Fine. We're good. So now the ladies sit down, I guess, to eat, but Jennifer and Teresa are still kind of standing off to the side, and Jennifer's like, oh, God. And all these people are going to be at your wedding. Just don't sit me near these people. Put me in the bleachers. I don't care. And Teresa goes, that reminds me. Hey, everybody, let me ask you guys something. I was gonna do no seating arrangement at the wedding. And everyone's like, that's fine. And Margaret goes, that's probably for the best. Because last time you had a seating arrangement, you had issues. Yes, we know the engagement party where Joe and Melissa were seated at the friends table and not the family table. Where Louis's family was, by the way, with Teresa and Louis. So Teresa says to Margaret, she was sitting at my table. Melissa, what? Teresa, because she asked to move together. And Melissa's like, are you kidding me right now? Teresa, I swear. Melissa, Teresa, I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to fight. Melissa stands up. I thought you would never look me in the eyes and lie. But you're going to say that you sat me. Teresa cuts her off. I'm not lying. Melissa, we got there. There were 2 tables. You and Louis's family and Dina and your kids were at one table. And me and Jennifer and some hairdressers were at the other table. Teresa, no. Melissa, yes, it was. You even came to me and apologized. You were like, I'm sorry, guys, but don't make a big deal over this. Teresa, why wouldn't I want my only brother to be sitting next to me? Melissa, you were sitting next to Louis's sisters. Teresa, I swear on my mother and my father and my 4 daughters. Melissa, that what? That we were supposed to be there at the other table? Okay, fine. Huh? What? So we're leaving it at that? I guess the whole time Teresa was just saying that they were supposed to be at the other table and there was a mix-up or something. She hoped they wouldn't make a big deal about it, and I don't know. So Jennifer steps in now and she's like, you told me that you felt bad that they weren't sitting at your table. She says that to Teresa. And then to Melissa, Jennifer says, she seemed to be unaware that that was happening. Okay, so it sounds like Teresa didn't make the seating arrangement. Then when she realized that Melissa and Joe were at the other table and not hers, it was too late, maybe. It was right when they were there. I mean, that's a big mess up. And whoever made the seating arrangement, let me just say this. Whoever made the seating arrangement either had Teresa's blessing or they were trying to sabotage somehow. Because Dina and I assume her husband maybe were at Teresa's table, at the family table. That was an easy switch 2 for 2. Melissa and Joe for Dina and her husband. And then truly that would have been a family table. and a friend table. I'm not buying that she didn't know, and it was such an obvious, like, it just feels like it was done purposely. You know, it was such an obvious mistake. If it was a mistake, I don't know. In Teresa's confessional, she said, Louis and I went up to their table and said, you were supposed to be at our table. Now Melissa's like, I don't give a shit. Teresa, then why would you bring it up in New York? And Melissa goes, because we were fighting. You were horrible to us in New York. And Teresa goes, this is why I didn't ask you. Let's just get it out on the table now. It was about Margaret. I felt like you weren't sticking up for me. And Melissa goes, oh my God, now I'm pissed off. Margaret, how many times did I tell you to shut up about Louis? And Margaret goes, she said, drop it. Teresa's not going to change your mind. Melissa goes, I said, why do you keep talking about it? She loves him. You're not going to change that. So, but I'm the bad guy, right? Teresa, I'm just telling you how I was feeling. Melissa, stop putting it on me. Stop it. I didn't do it. Teresa, you started it. And Melissa's like, no, this is not happening in my life anymore. Oh, but it is. Teresa, you're my sister-in-law, and to me, family is everything. Melissa, stop saying family, family, family. Teresa, I'm not saying family, family, family. Melissa, stop it. And that is just what Bravo did. That is the end of the episode. Oh my God. I'm not saying family, family, family. I'm just saying family is everything. Well, that was so much fun. Thank you guys for being here. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, Jill Informed, please do so. And please consider clicking on the bell icon to get a notification every time I post something new. As always, I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you look in the description below this video, you will see a link to several items. Go ahead and click on any one of those items. And once you are in Amazon, you can buy whatever you want. It doesn't have to be that item. You can not put that in your cart. And I will earn a portion of whatever you purchase on any qualifying items. That would help me greatly. That's it for me. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.